Every year, right around the anniversary of his death, my mom forbids me from visiting my brother. She still resents him for committing suicide. His fans, however, have always kept him in their hearts. Every year around his anniversary, they rush over to lay pink flowers at his grave. Then, I dreamt of him. In the dream, he wasn't his usual arrogant self. He stood in the shadows, looking utterly lonely. Amelia, are you about to forget me too? Why does everyone else get roast chicken, but I don't? I woke up with a start. Sean had been gone for almost 2 years. He was my childhood nightmare. Taking advantage of being a few years older, he would eat my snacks, steal my toys, and absolutely loved making me cry. We went to the same high school later on. He was the most popular guy in school, the hallways always packed with girls waiting to slip him love notes. Nobody could quite believe I was his biological sister. How is that possible? Your brother is so gorgeous, and you're, well, a bit plain. Could you give me your brother's number? Please. I was helpless too. We shared the same parents, yet he hogged all the good genes. He was handsome, got great grades, and was a total athlete, an absolute crowd pleaser. The most ridiculous part was how flawless he seemed to everyone else. Nobody knew that behind closed doors, he constantly stole the drinks I kept in the fridge. I had clearly written Amelia's drinks, do not touch, on them. After drinking them, he would even add a note right below. Touch them, so what? Whenever I dated someone in college, he would sabotage the relationship, claiming it was for my own good. Seriously, for 360 days a year, I wanted to wring his neck. Until the news of his death arrived. I was completely paralyzed. 2 years ago, on July 17th, it was his birthday. After Sean got famous, he rarely spent his birthdays at home. His fans always organized birthday events for him. His girlfriend, Mia Lane, showed up dressed to the nines at the event. Wearing a white, waist-bearing gown that showed off her incredible figure, she walked up and gave Sean a hug right in front of his fans. When my mom saw this, she immediately made us turn off his birthday live stream. What is this? I'm not watching anymore. Mom never liked Mia. Before getting together with my brother, she had only acted in a few third-rate movies. But after dating him, her resources and exposure skyrocketed. Sean's fans spoiled him rotten. Their love for him extended to everything associated with him. They said as long as Sean was happy, they would always support him. Consequently, they were extremely forgiving of Mia. Some even wrote fanfiction about them. The top-tier celebrity and the obscure actress. They actually had a pretty large fan base supporting their relationship. Sean even hooked her up with some great industry connections, and slowly but surely, she climbed the ranks to become an A-list star. Having been his sister for over 20 years, all he ever did was trick and bully me. He didn't treat me with even a tenth of the care he showed Mia. Sean, you ungrateful jerk. How do you have the nerve to ask me to bring you roast chicken? Have your precious Mia bring it to you. After Sean's birthday event ended that day, my mom made me call him. I dialed his number reluctantly, only for him to complain. Wow, Amelia. My birthday is over in 2 hours, and you're just now calling. Don't you have Mia keeping you company? You don't need anyone else thinking about you. I immediately pulled the phone away from my ear, anticipating getting chewed out by him. But my mom quickly took the phone and put it on speaker. Sean, hurry home when the event is over. We got a birthday cake for you here, and Amelia even cooked you a meal herself. Thanks, but no thanks. Last time I ate her fried noodles, I had diarrhea for 3 days. What are you talking about? Why were you the only one who got sick? The rest of us were perfectly fine. That's a you problem. All right, enough. Can you two not argue the second you start talking? My mom tapped the table in frustration, putting an end to our bickering. I let out a cold snort and shut up. Over the phone, Sean chuckled. Still snorting at me? You mad? How about I bring you a present when I get home? I couldn't hold back a grin. My mom couldn't stand it. It's his birthday, and he's bringing you a present. He's going to spoil you rotten. Damn right I am. I'm going to spoil her so much nobody else will want her. His tone over the phone was as punchable as ever. None of us noticed anything off about him. Less than an hour after we hung up, he got into a car crash on the highway. By the time the police and ambulance arrived, the front of his car was severely mangled, and he was already gone. I drove my parents to the hospital through the night. Standing outside the morgue doors, I didn't dare go in. I listened to my mom sobbing uncontrollably inside until she collapsed and fainted. Only then did I push the doors open, rushing in to help her up. The doctor and my dad led her away. I stood up in a panic and happened to look over. I completely froze. Sean's face was covered in blood, and his legs below the knees were a mangled mess of flesh and bone. He used to be so glorious, standing on stage under dazzling lights, receiving the flowers and applause of tens of thousands, dancing with wild abandon. He was so full of life. Yet now he lay silently in the morgue. Even having him endlessly nag and berate me had become an impossible wish. I stepped closer and looked at him. The necklace around his neck was exactly the same as mine. It was from when we were born. Our grandmother had specially asked someone to bless two identical pendants, to keep my eldest grandson and youngest granddaughter safe and healthy. Grandma would be so devastated when she found out. No parent should ever have to bury their child. She was still waiting for Sean to come home and celebrate his birthday with her. A sudden, dull ache pierced my chest. My heart broke for him. I gently touched his fingertips, but felt only a chilling cold. I tried hard to open my mouth, but couldn't make a single sound. Tears quickly blurred my vision. Does it hurt, Sean? Overnight, the news of Sean's car crash dominated the trending topics. Insiders revealed that he had been suffering from severe depression for a long time. Judging from the accident footage leaked online, Sean was driving in a suicidal manner. He suddenly accelerated and swerved right in front of a speeding semi-truck. The truck behind him couldn't brake in time and slammed directly into his car, sending it crashing violently over the median and into the highway guardrail. I screamed in terror and closed the video, never daring to watch it a second time. Just that once. Thinking about the person in the video being Sean sent me into a total breakdown. The accident investigation found no mechanical failure with the vehicle. Large amounts of fluoxetine were discovered in his car, and there were self-harm scars on his wrists, further corroborating the theory of a depressive suicide. My parents turned gray overnight, visibly aging and growing haggard. How could he do this to us? What right does he have? I'll just pretend I never had this son. My mom locked Sean's room. We had hired a therapist during that time, and they advised her to temporarily avoid any triggers. She took that advice to the extreme. Suddenly, my brother's name became a taboo in our house. From then on, no matter the holiday, the house was dead silent. We never had a festive atmosphere again. She wouldn't even let me go visit Sean around the anniversary of his death. But I couldn't bear to leave him all alone out there. I knew he hated being lonely more than anything. When he was 3, he tugged at my mom's shirt crying, "Mommy, I want a sister to play with." And so, the following year, I was born. Even though I was bullied by my brother from the moment I came into this world, I was born because of him. Over breakfast, I told my parents about dreaming of Sean. My mom slammed her fork heavily onto the table. "He's ungrateful. That's what he is. Since he wanted nothing to do with this family, let him stay out there all by himself." Hearing this, my dad started sighing. For the 2 years since my brother passed, our family had been living under this dark cloud. It's been 2 years. Our son's fans go visit him every year. Is it really right for us not to go? My mom's eyes instantly turned red. He abandoned us. He just up and left when he felt like it. Why should we go see him? I'll just pretend I never gave birth to him. Whoever wants to go see him can forget about coming back to this house. I didn't dare make a peep. My dad sighed, cleared the dishes from the table, and said nothing more. Mom nearly died from a massive hemorrhage when she gave birth to Sean. Every elder in the family adored him. From a young age, he would cling to our grandparents and had a real sweet tooth for charming people. You could say he grew up with the world revolving around him. Because of that, my mom simply couldn't understand why he would get depressed, or why he would commit suicide. My feelings toward Sean were incredibly complex too. When he was alive, there were days I wanted to rip him to shreds. But when he was gone, I missed his smug, smart aleck presence being around. Sometimes, when I saw other families happily spending time together, I even felt a twinge of resentment toward him for bringing such devastating ruin to our home. This family would never be happy again. "Sean, look at what you've done. You're the heartless one." I tossed and turned that night, unable to sleep. terrified that Sean would crash my dreams again. I decided to just go check out his room. Mom locked it up after he left us. Dad and I would occasionally sneak in to tidy it up, making sure to keep it a secret from her, of course. Sean's absolute favorite color was pink. The walls of his room were painted pink, and even the curtains were a soft, pastel pink. Our neighbor, Nathan Warren, used to come over to play when we were younger. The first time he saw Sean's room, he assumed it was mine and teased him about it forever. Later on, for Sean's birthday, Nathan actually gifted him a Pink Panther plush toy. Sean loved it so much that he brought it with him through multiple moves. I sat down on Sean's bed and straightened the plush toy. His guitar rested lonely against the bedside. It reminded me of how much he loved music when we were kids. He even won a national music competition later on, taking first place in one fell swoop. Tons of agencies fought to sign him, though they were mostly just after his outstanding looks and exceptional vocals. He was narcissistic enough to buy all of his own albums and plaster an entire wall with them. Amelia, your brother is going to be the biggest star in this industry. Be a good girl, do my laundry, and I'll give you an autograph. In your dreams. You. I gently ran my hand over his pillow and leaned down to lie on it. His scent had completely faded. Don't fall asleep yet. How is that song I just played? I glanced up and saw Sean sitting on the windowsill, holding his guitar. He was tilting his head, looking at me with dissatisfaction. Why are you here again? Everyone else gets roast chicken, except me. I rolled over, annoyed, and muttered my complaint. Why don't you go bother Mom and Dad? You only know how to boss me around. Are you really about to forget me too? He stood by the window, his expression full of sorrow. I softened a bit and gently replied, Didn't I bring you some the last time I snuck out to see you? That was a year ago. Amelia, do you have no heart? Even if I have no heart, it's better than you stealing my Coke. Sean put his guitar down, leaned close to my ear, and whispered, Holding a grudge over something so small. I left you a massive amount of money. Come visit me, and I'll tell you where I hid it. Seriously? I jolted awake from the dream. The night breeze blew the curtains, creating a strangely romantic vibe in the moonlight. But the windowsill was empty. The guitar rested silently in its original spot. He seemed to have been here, but left no trace. Regardless, he was my own brother. He had come looking for me multiple times now. It would be too heartless of me not to go. And it absolutely wasn't because of the massive amount of money. I'm not that shallow. Sean's grave was located in a cemetery on the outskirts of the city. Even though my mom constantly verbally blamed him for not valuing his own life, she still chose to lay him to rest on the most beautiful hilltop. He always loved the free wind, always clamoring to go out and play every single day. Well, he got his wish now, surrounded by birds, flowers, and grass. Sean's favorite roast chicken was from a small shop nearby. He had reminded me in my dreams several times. Clearly, he was craving it. I carried the box of roast chicken, panting as I climbed the steps one by one. The wind swept across the mountain and blew through my hair. Just like when he was still here, I placed the roast chicken in front of him and sat down to keep him company. Glancing up, I saw a graceful woman wearing sunglasses standing in front of his grave. I stopped in my tracks. It seemed someone had beaten me to it. One of Sean's fans. I slowed my pace and stepped behind a tree, only to realize the person standing there was Mia. It looked like my mom really was prejudiced against her. She actually came to visit Sean, which showed she cared deeply about him. I was just about to step out and say hello when I heard her speak in a cold, flat tone. Sean, you never expected this day to come, did you? The people you loved and cared about most haven't even come to see you. I'm the only one left who can take pity on you. She let out a chilling laugh and violently smashed the jar in her hand against his headstone. Dark red liquid instantly splattered across the stone, slowly dripping down and staining the black and white photo of him smiling. What the hell are you? You can't even rest in peace after you're dead. You keep messing with my dreams every single day. You deserve to die. My heart seized. Pure rage surged through me. I charged forward, grabbed Mia by her long, curly hair, and yanked her backward. And what the hell are you? What did you do to my brother? Mia looked back at me, wincing in pain, her face full of shock. Amelia? Let go. Let go my ass. What right do you have to treat my brother like this? Oh, Sean. Look at the terrifying woman you fell in love with. In the days we didn't visit, this was how she treated you. No wonder you kept coming to find me. She dared to humiliate you like this. Watch me beat her half to death. Mia raised her hand to strike me, but I grabbed her wrist and pinned it down hard. She glared at me fiercely. Amelia, just try and touch me. I will. My karate lessons weren't for nothing. There was no way Mia was a match for me. She could only take the beating. After I roughed her up, she made a huge scene at the hospital and had her lawyer send me a cease and desist letter. Amelia, I will sue you to the ends of the earth. There really isn't a single good person in the Rhodes family. My mom was so worried, she couldn't sleep all night. Why did you go see Sean? And even if you did, why did you have to provoke Mia? You don't understand. She was throwing filthy stuff on Sean's headstone. My mom froze instantly. Then, she stood up and headed for the door. Watch me tear her to shreds. Is my son just supposed to let her bully him like that? My dad sighed and pulled her back. That's enough. As if things aren't messy enough already. The problem now is that she wants to sue Amelia. How are we going to handle this? Do you both want to go to jail? The room suddenly fell dead silent. My mom slumped back into her chair, looking utterly defeated. My dad frowned, remaining silent for a long time. Finally, he pointed at me and spoke slowly. Tomorrow, you and I are going to go find Mia and formally apologize. Dad, why? She's the one who hurt my brother first. I was furious. Mia was clearly the one who had disrespected my family first. You beat someone up, you're going to get sued. Your brother is gone. Are you planning on abandoning your mother and me too? We're getting old. I froze. Over the past few years, my parents had visibly aged. I compromised. Dad, just don't go. You've held your head high your whole life. How can I let you bow your head because of me? After Sean's accident, my dad's back had literally hunched over from the exhaustion of arranging his funeral. He should have been enjoying a peaceful retirement, but neither of his kids made him proud. Nathan later told me that Mia's lawyer had actually advised against pursuing criminal charges. Once it went to trial, the incident at the cemetery would be used as a counterclaim against her, which wouldn't do her any favors. So, both sides completely understood the true nature of my apology. It was just a mutual step back. Mia lived in a luxury apartment downtown. I had heard Sean bought it for her. I swear. My brother was hopelessly blinded by love. I had no idea what he was thinking, sacrificing so much for a woman like her. Mia looked quite surprised to see me. She leaned lazily against the sofa, the corners of her eyes lifting in a condescending sneer. Amelia, my eyes must be deceiving me. The high and mighty little princess actually brought gifts to apologize. I set the gift bags down on the table. I'm sorry. Hitting you was my fault. Please withdraw the legal notice. That's hilarious. If apologies actually worked, what would we need the cops for? Mia seemed to drop her guard immediately. She picked up a glass of red wine from the table and took a delicate sip. Then what do you want? She pulled a bottle of vodka from the liquor cabinet and filled an empty glass to the brim. An apology requires sincerity. I knew she wasn't going to let me off the hook easily. It's just a drink, right? Fine, I'll drink it. A whole glass of vodka burned down my throat, making me dizzy and nauseous. The alcohol hit my brain fast, and a loud ringing immediately filled my ears. When Sean was alive, he never let me drink. He even threw a massive fit when I secretly sneaked out to a bar once. Because of that, my alcohol tolerance was practically zero. Just a little bit, and I had to lean against the wall to walk. Mia pinched my chin with her fingertips and laughed. You're still as lightweight as ever, honey. In a hazy forest, Sean sat on a tree branch, playing the harmonica. The melody was so beautiful it left me a bit entranced. Stop playing, Sean. I'm so dizzy. Sean glanced down at me, hopped off the branch, and looked at me with a slight frown. Who told you to drink? You just treat everything I say like white noise, don't you? Seeing his familiar face, a sudden layer of tears misted my eyes. Who told you to kill yourself? If you were still here, would I even need to drink? A trace of imperceptible sorrow flickered in Sean's dark eyes. He looked at me helplessly. The wounds on his body suddenly began to fester, blood soaking completely through his clothes. I stood frozen in terror. Sean, what's wrong? I'm sorry. But I didn't commit suicide. Someone suddenly slapped my face hard, jolting me violently awake. Mia threw a soaking wet towel right onto my face and let out a cold snort. Don't just sleep when you're here to apologize. You haven't even mopped the floors yet. I pulled the towel off and glared up at her. When are you going to withdraw the legal notice? I admit that. Right then, I had the urge to snap her neck. Mia gave me an impatient sideways glance. That depends on my mood. What are you standing around for? Mop. For the sake of my parents, I could only swallow my pride and bend down to scrub the already spotless floors. She was deliberately making things difficult for me. Did she really think I couldn't tell? After I drew a bath for her, she hummed a cheerful tune while drinking the coffee I made for her, soaking in the tub. Go to my room and bring me the aromatherapy diffusers. I took a deep breath and walked into her bedroom. It was massive, and the walls were covered with photos of her. I grabbed the diffuser from the desk, but a photo album sitting right there caught my eye. The album was filled with pictures of her hugging Sean from behind, smiling so sweetly. I couldn't understand it. If they had been so deeply in love, why did she hate him so much now? I picked up the album and flipped through it. Suddenly, my entire body went rigid. It was a yellowed high school ID photo. Small eyes were squeezed into a chubby face, with a wide, flat nose that made her look quite alarming. Only that delicate little mouth matched Mia's current face. Underneath the photo, it read, Amy Pike, freshman year ID photo. I kept flipping. The album contained photos of Sean when he was 17 or 18. Photos of him playing basketball, eating in the cafeteria, walking down the street. There were even photos of him walking home with me, taken secretly from behind. The captions underneath were even more terrifying. Sean was the MVP today. So handsome. I love him. How is he so good-looking even when he eats? I want to be the silverware in his mouth. LOL. Sean's abs. I intentionally bumped into him earlier just to cop a feel, and he actually apologized to me. I hate Amelia so much. She always clings to Sean and makes him walk her home. Die. Why does Amelia get everyone's praise? Just because she's pretty? I'm going to get plastic surgery to look like Amelia. Then will Sean look at me? My hands trembled uncontrollably. Amy Pike's face suddenly materialized in my memory. She was my classmate. From what I remembered, she never really stood out. She always sat submissively in the corner. The boys in our class called her Ugly Girl. They would rip up her books and leave caterpillars on her desk. I saw it happen a few times and told them to stop. The boys would just laugh it off and say, Amelia has spoken, so we'll let her off the hook today. When I turned around to comfort Amy, I caught her glaring at me, muttering under her breath, Stop pretending to be the good guy. Go die. I was really freaked out back then. What are you doing? Mia's voice came from behind me. I jumped, dropping the album to the floor. Wrapped in a bath towel, she reached down and picked it up. The look in her eyes was identical to Amy's. Mia was actually Amy Pike. After getting plastic surgery, she broke into the entertainment industry. It was only after she started dating my brother that her career skyrocketed. Did Sean know you were Amy Pike? Mia let out a soft laugh. Even without makeup, her face was exquisitely flawless. So what if he knew? He was always completely powerless against me. I approached him specifically to torment him. Everything you have today is because of my brother. Why would you treat him like that? Mia didn't answer my question directly. Instead, she opened a drawer packed to the brim with letters. Why? I used to love Sean so much, but he didn't accept a single one of these love letters. Did he have to trample on a girl's heart like that? But he treated you so well. He gave you the best of everything. Even when you threw temper tantrums at him, he never got mad. I couldn't accept it. So I transferred schools, got plastic surgery, got beautiful, got skinny. All so he would like me. My jaw literally dropped. Are you sick in the head? I'm his actual sister. Isn't it completely normal for him to treat me well? And who made the rule that just because you like him, he has to date you? Mia closed the drawer and looked up at me. What I want, I must get. By whatever means necessary. You're insane. I'm going to expose you. I had to let everyone know her true colors. For over 20 years, Sean had been so smart. How did he fail to see right through her? Do you really think anyone will believe you? Do you have any proof? Instead of being scared, Mia looked like a triumphant victor. She was an A-list celebrity now. She had so many fans they could easily drown me with their spit. Amelia, do you have any idea how much I hate you? It's bad enough that you were pretty and smart, and all the boys buzzed around you. But the person Sean adored the most was you too. You probably don't even remember, do you? During the track meet freshman year, you and I collided at the finish line. My face was covered in blood, and you only scraped your knee. But the person Sean rushed over to carry to the nurse's office was you. So I wished you were dead. I posted anonymously on a fan forum, exposing Mia's plastic surgery and her malicious motives for approaching Sean, as well as what she did at the cemetery. It briefly sparked a massive debate among the fans. But just as everyone was starting to believe it, Mia posted a denial. Mia wrote, "The truth speaks for itself. He treated me like I was his whole world. I hope people can have some basic decency. Sean and I just want to be left in peace." I clicked on the photo attached to the post and felt like I had been struck by lightning. It was Sean's suicide note. The bold handwriting on the note was deeply familiar, and the habit of using ellipses while writing confirmed it was definitely Sean. Mimi, these past few years, I've felt so tired. Even though seeing your smile always healed me, I've truly been sick for too long. I hope you stay well. Even when I'm gone, you have to try your hardest to live on for me. The note struck my heart like a heavy sledgehammer. I, and even my parents, hadn't received a single final word from Sean. Yet this ungrateful brother of mine wrote his suicide note to Mia. The letter didn't explicitly say the word love, yet every single word dripped with it. It was full of nothing but affection for her. That suicide note completely overturned my forum post in an instant. Mia remained entirely unscathed and even garnered more sympathy from the fans. The comments under my post were flooded with abuse. What kind of person is this? Mia lost the love of her life, and you're still slandering her. This is sickening. So, what if Mia got plastic surgery? Her and Sean's love was real. Why does the OP have to smear her? OP, have you never been loved? Mia's fans curse me out and quickly dox my real identity. Oh, it's Sean's sister. Can you stop throwing dirty water on our Mia? Our Mia is more than good enough for Sean. So shameless. Just because her own life is miserable, she can't stand seeing Mia do well. Even Sean's fans started chiming in. Amelia, as Sean's sister, can you act your age? You've really crossed the line this time. Sean wouldn't feel good knowing you're smearing the person he cherished most. I rushed home, ignoring my parents trying to stop me, and barged into Sean's room. I was going to smash every last thing he owned. Ungrateful jerk. Amelia, calm down. Mom grabbed hold of me. It was only the second time I had ever seen her look so panicked. The first time was when the hospital called to say Sean was in the emergency room. What's the point of keeping any of this? He didn't mention us once in his suicide note. He never cared about this family at all. Mom wiped a tear from the corner of her eye, turned around, and walked out of the room. I swept all the knickknacks off his desk onto the floor. I had given him all of those. He didn't deserve them. But why was my nose constantly stinging? After stripping his bed bare, I hoisted his favorite guitar into the air. But I hesitated for a fraction of a second. This was the guitar he loved most. The year he turned 18, he tricked me into giving him all my saved-up allowance just to buy it. When he walked out of the guitar shop that day, he rode his bike with the guitar slung over his back, heading right into the setting sun, laughing the entire way home. He really loved this guitar. Just then, my phone rang. Exhaling a breath I didn't know I was holding, I slowly set the guitar back in its original spot. Hello. Hello, is this Amelia? Speaking. Who is this? I am Sean's lawyer. He previously instructed me to handle the notarization of his will. You are the designated heir. A will from 3 years ago had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. When I finally met Sean's lawyer, I was stunned for a moment. Are you Nathan? He took off his glasses and offered me a gentle smile. It's me. Long time no see. Back when we lived in the old house, Nathan Warren lived right next door. The three of us grew up together. Since I was little, I had always wished Nathan was my real brother. He was always so gentle. If I fell in the yard and started bawling, Sean's immediate reaction was to point and laugh. But Nathan would immediately rush over to pick me up. From what I remembered, the two of them were practically inseparable. Nathan was much quieter. He would just smile faintly, watching my brother talk endlessly like he was wound up. When Sean started high school, my parents moved to make his commute easier. From then on, I rarely heard from Nathan. I never knew Sean had kept in touch with him all this time. He pulled a gallery exhibition ticket from his briefcase and handed it to me. "Happy birthday, Amelia. I heard from Sean before that you really liked Thomas Hale's work." I pulled some strings and managed to get a ticket to his art exhibition. I froze. I had been so overwhelmed by all this recent mess that I completely forgot today was my birthday. I took the ticket, forcing a tight smile. "Thank you, Nathan." It reminded me of when Sean was still alive. Even though he always made fun of my paintings, whenever Thomas Hale had an exhibition, he would always find a way to score tickets for me. After he passed, I never went to another one. "I'm glad you like it." Nathan smiled softly and handed me a file. "This is the will. Read it over first. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me." My eyes caught his long, slender fingers. An elegant pinky ring gleamed under the lights. My brother has a pinky ring exactly like that one. Nathan paused. He gently twisted the ring on his left hand and spoke quietly. We were very close. I looked at him in shock. His gentle eyes were like a deep, dark sky. He gave me a slight smile that instantly warmed my heart. Nathan and my brother had completely opposite personalities. He was so gentle. "Since when?" "8 years." He maintained his gentle smile. He looked so refined and elegant, not a hair out of place. But why did I get the feeling he was utterly shattered inside, his heart covered in scars? I bit my lower lip, my nose stinging again. "It must have been so hard for you, Nathan." He lowered his head, hiding his emotions, and clicked on his voice recorder. "No. Let's not talk about that. Sean specified that this will could only be revealed to you when you turn 25. Seeing the hostile comments about you online lately, and considering today is your 25th birthday, I thought it was time you saw it." My hands shook as I opened the file. Exactly how many things was Sean hiding from me? Mimi, I never thought my first letter to you would be in the form of a will. I was never a great brother. Never really set a good example for you. But from the moment you came into this world, my life really did fill up with so much laughter. It's just, I've been depressed for a long time. Almost every so often, I find myself writing a suicide note. I honestly don't know when I won't be able to hold on anymore. Thinking it over, the person I'm most worried about leaving behind is you. You've been a naive idiot causing me trouble since you were little. I figured I'd better leave a will to guarantee you don't have to worry about food or clothes for the rest of your life. I wrote this will a long time ago. I just wanted to wait until you were 25 to tell you. After all, I won't be around, and I was worried some sketchy guy with bad intentions would trick you out of your money. I never let you date before because those guys were seriously losers. If they couldn't get past your big brother, they couldn't step foot in our house. But now you're grown up. I trust you know how to read people. After all, nobody in the Rhodes family is stupid. Of course, if you ever run into a problem you can't figure out, go find Nathan. He is a very important person to me too. You can trust him completely. Didn't you always have your eye on my red Ferrari? It's yours. But don't blame me for not warning you. If you drive that thing around, it's going to be even harder for you to find a decent boyfriend. Leave the suburban villa for mom and dad to retire in. I'm letting you have my downtown apartment on the cheap. The security is good, it's close to public transit, and it's perfect for you. As for the money, I split it into 3. One portion goes to charity, specifically an education fund for underdeveloped areas. One portion goes to mom and dad. And the rest is yours. Yes, you read that right. I only left you $300,000. Don't even think about relying on me your whole life and just slacking off. I won't allow it. I've given you the car and the house. I've given you $300,000 in startup funds. You have to carve out the rest of your life on your own. And don't forget to visit me often. Bring roast chicken. Reading the will and Sean's letter, I was already sobbing uncontrollably. So the Mimi he addressed in his letter had always been me. I finally remembered. When I was in kindergarten, we had to put our names on our backpacks. Mom and Dad were busy, and Sean thought writing out my full name was too much effort, so he just scribbled Mimi instead. When I was little, everyone in the family called me Mimi. Mimi wasn't Mia Lane at all. In my brother's heart, Mimi was me. It had always been me. Nathan pulled a few tissues and handed them to me. These past few years, Sean was tortured to the point where he barely looked like himself anymore. The day he slit his wrists, I happened to get back from a business trip early. Otherwise. So that was why Sean's concert tour had been postponed. It was because he slit his wrists and was hospitalized. And it was my fault for caring so little about him. I even called to complain that he broke his promise, right after I had scored several tickets for his concert for my friends. Everyone had already taken time off work, and suddenly, he postponed it. And on that very day, Sean was lying in a hospital bed, still forcing a smile to comfort me. I'm such an awful person. Nathan, do you know why my brother was depressed? I don't remember him acting strange normally. I just don't understand. Nathan lowered his eyes, hesitating for a long while. There are some things it might be better if you didn't know. Please. I have to know the real reason my brother died. Nathan and I went to the apartment they used to share. It was decorated in muted grays and whites. Minimalist, yet incredibly unique. The place was spotless. It was hard to believe two guys lived there. Nathan loosened his tie, took off his suit jacket, and hung it on the rack by the entrance. He led me into Sean's study. He used to love writing music or just zoning out in this room. You can open that box under the bookshelf and take a look. But promise me, after you see what's inside, don't do anything rash. I nodded. As Nathan left, he quietly pulled the door shut behind him. Now, only Sean's lingering scent and I remained in the room. The box was entirely filled with old belongings. There were even sneakers and magazines from his high school days. He really was a hoarder. There was also a picture of the two of us together. I had looked for it everywhere, never expecting Sean had stolen it. Tucked quietly in the corner of the box was a pair of SpongeBob slippers. I had bought those for Sean, but I never once saw him wear them. When I asked him about it, he told me they were too childish and he threw them away. It turned out he had brought them to his own home and wore them every single day. Tears blurred my vision yet again. Then I caught sight of a phone sitting next to the box. I plugged it in, and to my surprise, it actually turned on. Sean usually kept his work and personal life strictly separate. One phone was for industry contacts, while his family and close friends were all on a separate account. I tapped into Mia's profile. Seeing the dozens of gigabytes of chat history, my entire body began shaking uncontrollably. For years, Mia had been blackmailing my brother. And the root of it all was me. It happened back in high school. A classmate had a birthday and invited the whole class to celebrate at a private venue. Everyone was having a great time, so we drank a little too much. I was so drunk I had zero energy left, and I ended up falling asleep right there on the sofa. I had absolutely no memory of when everyone else left. When I finally woke up, I was already in the hospital, my entire body sore. Sean was sitting by my bed, his eyes completely bloodshot. Are you hurting anywhere? I just feel like my entire body has been torn apart. I feel awful. Sean clenched his fists, his face filled with heartbreak as he tucked the blankets around me. Don't be scared. Your big brother is right here. I'm going to make them pay. I burst out laughing. What are you talking about? We just had a few drinks. Why are you acting like someone died? Sean froze for a second. You don't remember any of it? Remember what? I completely blacked out. Sean pulled me into a tight, protective hug. He gently patted my back, his voice restrained and full of tenderness. Don't ever drink again. Listen to me. No matter how far away you go with your friends, always call me to come pick you up. Later on, Sean put the guys who had snuck into the venue into the hospital. He got suspended from school for a month, and our parents had to pay a massive amount in medical bills. Mom and Dad grounded him for a whole month, and surprisingly, he didn't fight back at all. Only now did I realize what actually happened that night. After I got drunk that night, I was sexually assaulted by a few boys who had snuck in. Thank God Sean got there in time. He carried me and sprinted all the way to the hospital. I had zero memory of any of this. All those fights Sean got into, they were all because of me. He figured it was better if I didn't remember. That way, I could still be my happy, carefree self. So, he buried the whole thing deep inside. Later on, he became a top-tier celebrity in the industry. Mia tracked him down and showed him the photos from that night. It was so sickening. The whole thing was Mia's twisted plot. She hired those boys, And she was the one who took the pictures. Sean, either you agree to date me publicly for the publicity, or I leak these photos to the press. I'm doing everything you asked. When are you going to delete the negatives? Don't be in such a rush. You ignored me completely when I threw myself at you before. Now it's my turn to enjoy feeling in charge. Let's see how I feel. Nathan's explanation finally made me understand. It wasn't that Sean hadn't thought about going to the police. But the moment it turned into a criminal investigation, the photos would be entered into evidence, and my identity would inevitably be exposed. His management team had also assessed the situation. A public lawsuit would trigger massive media exposure, and the secondary trauma inflicted on me would far outweigh the initial threat itself. He was trapped in a cage with no way out. And on the day of his car crash, right before the accident, Mia had sent him a voice message. Sean, what the hell do you mean leaving me alone on your birthday? I'm sick of people claiming our relationship is on the rocks and we're breaking up. Is Amelia really that important? More important than me. I'm giving you 1 hour. You better turn around at the next highway exit, or I'm releasing the photos. That was why Sean was desperately changing lanes in the surveillance footage. He was already close to the exit, yet he still sped up to merge. It felt like a massive boulder was crushing my chest. Sean, you absolute idiot. My reputation isn't worth a fraction of your life. Call the police. Let her pay for what she did. Why endure being threatened day and night, sinking into such severe depression? So, Sean, he didn't commit suicide. He really wanted to make it home for his birthday that day. Sean had been tortured by depression for a long time, but these past 2 years, he really tried so hard to stay alive. Every time he felt like dying, he would write his feelings down in his journal. What will Amelia do if I die? I should leave her some money. That way she'll have an easier time after I'm gone. Forget it. I'd better not die. She won't make it on her own. I'm so exhausted. Amelia's graduation ceremony is tomorrow. I have to look happy. Reading Sean's rambling thoughts in his journal, I only hated myself for caring so little. I hadn't given him even 1,000th of the love he gave me. I grabbed my phone, ready to call the cops. What Mia did is completely illegal. I'm calling the police. Nathan stopped me, calmly explaining. For harassment and extortion to warrant criminal charges, you have to prove a sustained pattern and demonstrate that it caused a substantial fear of harm. With just these voice notes, the most she'd face is a misdemeanor and a fine. I completely broke down. That punishment was far too light for Mia. Nathan placed both hands firmly on my shoulders, bending down slightly to look me in the eye. Amelia, don't panic. Let me handle this, okay? I've already been gathering evidence to destroy her. I won't let Sean's death be for nothing. So that was why Nathan had been so incredibly busy lately. He didn't even have time to grieve properly. Whenever I missed Sean, I would hug his pillow and cry my eyes out. Yet Nathan remained restrained and stoic, even comforting me. But the pain he carried was no less than ours. Mia didn't know yet that I had uncovered the entire truth. As a result, she was still acting completely arrogant around me, demanding I come to her place every single day to clean. And that gave me the perfect opportunity to gather evidence. Whether it was her diary or her phone conversations with her manager, I documented everything. Occasionally, she would invite over some no-name male models. Whenever that happened, she always ordered me to leave early. I felt like the day she'd be completely ruined was fast approaching. But I couldn't be the one to break the story. I remembered an entertainment reporter who had been relentlessly tailing her recently. Mia had even publicly blasted him online, accusing him of lacking morals. I sent a private message to Kay, the reporter. Just as I expected, he was immediately thrilled by my tip and offered to meet up, even promising to pay me for the information. Naturally, I refused the money. I only promised to feed him Mia's schedule. Very quickly, Kay ignited a massive media firestorm online. The scandal about Mia keeping male escorts and her explicit affairs immediately shoved her into the eye of the storm. Someone even dug up evidence proving she had already been cheating while dating Sean. Sean's fans couldn't sit still anymore. They immediately came forward, demanding an explanation from her. Every brand Mia was working with deleted all social media posts associated with her overnight and issued statements terminating their contracts. Mia was absolutely furious. She violently swept a glass off the table, The expensive glassware shattered into pieces on the floor. Was it you? Amelia, I don't care what you have to do. Make Kay delete that post. Sure thing. Give me the negatives first. This time, Mia was genuinely stunned, but she quickly regained her composure. What negatives? You paid people to take explicit photos of me. Remember now. Mia suddenly laughed. She walked right up to me and began adjusting my collar. You mean that little incident? I'd almost forgotten about it if you hadn't brought it up. I thought you meant something important. She walked into her bedroom, pulled out a camera, and handed it to me. Here are the negatives. Don't forget to have Kay delete the post. I took the camera, trembling violently at the photos inside. I had chosen to conveniently forget everything I went through, but Sean had remembered it all, and he had chosen a path of self-destruction because of it. All the photos you want are right there. Can you call your guy to delete the post now? I popped the memory card out and slipped it into my bag. I had just one last question for her. How could you do something so twisted and cruel back then? Did you not know it was completely illegal? There's no point in talking about that now. If you want me to apologize, fine. I'm sorry. I let out a bitter, furious laugh. Everything I had been put through, and she thought a breezy, I'm sorry, was going to fix it? If apologies actually worked, what would we need the cops for? That's what you taught me. If you want to argue, save it for the precinct. Saying that, I clicked off the voice recorder in my pocket. Mia's eyes widened in utter disbelief. She lunged forward and slapped me hard across the face. My head spun for a second. It's Sean's own fault his life was cut short. You can't blame me. Hurry up and tell him to delete the post. I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth, pulled my arm back, and delivered a heavy punch right to her face. I hit her so hard my knuckles went numb. Mia lost her balance, stumbling backward until she slammed hard into the dining table. Her face twisted in sheer agony. My nose. You broke my nose. Amelia. Do you hear me? I will see you to the ground. Even your dad begging on his knees won't save you. I shook out my hand, picked up a heavy chair, and started walking toward her. All the color drained from her face in pure terror. Amelia. What are you doing? Just then, the doorbell rang. Mia scrambled on her hands and knees to wrench the door open. Help. Nathan stood in the doorway with several police officers. I let go, the chair crashing to the floor. My nose immediately stung. Nathan. Nathan strode toward me without saying a single word. He pulled me into a tight embrace and whispered, It's okay now. It's okay. It's time for her to pay the price. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I buried my face in Nathan's chest and sobbed uncontrollably. It turned out Nathan had spent the entire time gathering concrete evidence of Mia's drug use and tax evasion. The evidence was more than enough to lock her up for years, not to mention the massive fines she'd have to pay. Sean, just wait a little longer. Mia is finally getting what she deserves. The scandal surrounding Mia's male escorts continued to blow up. Right on its heels, news of her drug use and tax evasion broke. Her fans were desperately waiting for her to post a denial. Instead, what they got were front-page headlines proving her crimes with ironclad evidence. With that, her entire acting career was essentially over. She had clawed her way to the top of the industry with every dirty trick she had, and now it was completely obliterated overnight. For someone with her personality, an ending like this was a fate worse than death. Mia attempted to flee the country, but in her desperate rush, she caused a massive car crash. Because of this, I genuinely believe in karma. The apartment Sean owned downtown was left to me. When I went over to clean it out, a timid girl was standing by the door. Seeing me, her face flushed red as she asked, Are you Amelia? I instantly grew wary. Who's asking? I'm a fan of Sean's. I live downstairs. Please don't worry, I never once bothered him. She seemed like a very sweet, polite girl. She stood far away from the door and only stepped inside when I invited her in. Before, when I saw Sean wearing the Mimi necklace, I even wished him and Mia the best. But he just smiled and told me that Mimi was Amelia, his sister. So when Mia posted Sean's suicide note, I immediately knew Mimi was you. But my comment was deleted right away. She paused before continuing. Could you please clarify this? It means so much to Sean's fans. We're all so heartbroken that Sean gave his heart to the wrong person. If everyone knew Mimi was you, It would bring us all so much comfort. I logged into Sean's social media account and shared 2 photos. One was a picture of Sean smiling brightly while wearing the Mimi necklace. The other was the gift card Sean had left with the Ferrari. On it, he had written, "Mimi, here's a pretty Ferrari from your very own brother." The second the post went live, Sean's account exploded. Fans flooded the comment section. Everyone, the Mimi in Sean's suicide note wasn't Mia at all. It was his sister, Amelia. Thank God it wasn't Mia. Our Sean didn't love the wrong person. Otherwise, I would have been more devastated than if I'd died myself. So the person Sean cherished most in the entire world was his sister. I'm crying. This is too heartbreaking. The best Sean in the world. Mia never deserved him. I organized a memorial event for Sean's fans. Among Sean's belongings was an unreleased song. He had originally planned to drop it right after his birthday, but he ran out of time. I decided to release the song on his behalf at the memorial event. A demo of the track had already been circulating online, and everyone loved its warm, acoustic vibe. The fans had always assumed the shadow mentioned in the song was Mia. It wasn't until the official release that they realized the shadow was me. Sean's final masterpiece shot straight to the top of the streaming charts overnight. But all I could do was sit in his room, breathing in the faint traces of his scent, missing the days when he was still here. He may not have seemed like a particularly gentle brother, but he was a truly good one. After the night I was photographed, he fell into deep, agonizing guilt. That was why he forced me to take karate lessons with him. He said girls needed to know how to protect themselves. He said the world was full of bad people. He said, from now on, no matter how far you go, make sure your big brother comes to pick you up. But he broke his promise. Don't be sad. It'll break his heart to see you crying. Nathan appeared out of nowhere. He stood by the door watching me, his eyes brimming with tenderness. Nathan, thank you for staying by Sean's side all these years. Nathan gave a small smile, but his eyes grew damp. Tears welled up in them, looking as heavy as stagnant water pooling over thick mud. He was the one keeping me company. Honestly, I needed him more. Now that he's gone, the house is empty, and I don't know what to do with myself. Nathan tilted his head back, looking up at the painted starry sky on Sean's ceiling, and smiled. He really did love the starry sky ever since he was a kid. I even hired people to remodel our bedroom ceiling to look like the night sky. I wanted to surprise him when he came home after his birthday, but I walked over and gave Nathan a tight hug, exactly the way I used to hug Sean. I had lost my brother. My parents had lost their son. But what Nathan had lost was the love of his life. His agony was no less than ours. Yet their relationship had never even been made public. He could only mourn in utter secrecy. He pretended to be strong in front of me, stepping into my brother's shoes to give me someone to lean on. But what about him? All of his internal, agonizing screams had been forced into gentle, silent endurance. On every single night when Sean lost control, Nathan was the one who stayed by his side, begging him not to die. When Sean was severely depressed, and even when he attempted suicide, I, his own flesh and blood, knew absolutely nothing. And I only found out about him and Nathan after he had completely left this world. Oh, Sean. Did you just want me to feel so guilty I couldn't even show my face? That night, Sean appeared in my dream again. Unlike the previous times, his tone was soft and gentle. Mimi, I'm leaving Mom and Dad in your hands. I panicked, frantically reaching out to grab his hand, but caught only the cool night breeze. Sean walked further and further away, turning back to look at me every few steps, until he vanished completely from my sight. I woke up crying from the dream, my pillow completely soaked. My parents suddenly pushed the door open, looking at me with deep concern. We heard you crying. Did you have a nightmare? Mom, I miss my brother. After my mom learned the whole truth, she stayed by Sean's grave for a full day and night. Nothing anyone said could convince her to leave. She silently wiped down his headstone, whispering under her breath, Mommy was wrong. Come visit Mommy's dreams tonight, okay? Don't go to Amelia's. She's a light sleeper. I turned around. Nathan was standing there holding a carefully arranged bouquet of pink flowers. A gentle smile touched his lips. You all came. Sean is going to be so happy. The wind swept through the branches of the tree by Sean's grave, the leaves rustling softly. We all stood there in silence. None of us said a word.